Alright, how's it going? Today I wanted to do something with a variation of chord fills, like we did the chord fills in the last lesson. And I want you to practice that. Of course, a lot of learning with lessons is in between lessons to listen for music that has what we're doing. You can do single note fills or double note fills. Okay, so that's sort of how it works, right? That's one way you can use them with slow chord progression. In the key of E major I was in, which is a nice, pretty sound. I want to do two things. I want to do octaves and sixths. Okay, octaves are, if you take the E note here, right in the seventh, in the fifth, seventh, ninth fret, right, the E note, and then the 12th fret with your pinky, and you hit both those and muffle the second string. And the way you muffle it is not with your right hand, but with your, first finger. You're just, letting your first finger rest on the second string so that it's not sounding out, and you can hear it muffled like that. You don't want to hear it at all, really. Okay, so that's the octave, right? An octave is just the same note in a higher, one, I don't know how to describe it really, 12 frets higher, E. Alright, so an octave. Now, we use them in the lower notes, like if the E note was on the 7th fret and the 5th string, and the E note was on the 9th fret with the 3rd string, that's the octave too. But most of the time, now you could slide those and do what I did with chord fills before with those octaves. I'm better at using the higher notes. These, I'm not great at octaves at all, I don't use them much, but they're a very cool technique. George Benson is the guy. I mean, if you want to listen to somebody that knows how to use these octaves better than anybody I've ever heard. And I saw him once in New Orleans, and he was one of the most amazing guitar players. And for a rock guy like me, I mean, he was not a jazz player to me. I mean, he was rocking out, man, and I thought he was great. So I just want to show you that, the octaves, so you can do it. Obviously, when you're on the lower notes, you're only going up 2 steps, a half step, a whole step, to get to the next note, the octave note. But when you're down, whenever you're using something with the 3rd string, and when you tune, you have to go down a half step, you're going to need to go up another half a step. So the E and the E are like this. You could pinch again if you want, or you could pick and pinch. And what a lot of guys do is they use their volume control on the electric, and they do the octaves, and it's a very cool sound. And if I had an electric, I'd show you. But it disappeared on me right before I moved from my home. So that's it. Okay? So practice those. Again, if anything isn't clear, I'm going too fast, just send me a private message. George, slow down, go over the octaves again, whatever, alright? The other thing I wanted to do was the sixths. There are scales of these little sixths. Now, the chord fills I showed you we're going to call chord fills, and they're a string apart. There's one string and then the string that, you know, right under it. This one is going to skip a string, these 6, right? So we're going to start with E, all right? And we're going to go, I mean, that's the most basic 6th riff I can show you. It's a blues ending, right, when you're in the 5. A 1-4-5 progression in blues is just, and that's where the keys are important, okay? You know, you're going to know the keys. I think I'm going to write them on a piece of paper and let you, you know, see them, or I'll tell you to write them down or whatever, but the keys, in the key of E, the 4th is the A, and the 5th is the B. E, F, G, E, F, G, A, 4th, B, 5th. 1, E, 4, 5. They call it a 1-4-5 blues progression. On the B, after you finish it, and then you go back to the 1. Okay, so that's where these 6 come in a basic way all the time, right? Now that's the key of E, right? Now the scale on the 6th, on the 1st string and the 3rd string, okay, you see what I'm doing? The first one is an open G, open 3rd string, open, you're going to put your first finger on the 1st fret on the 3rd string actually, and it's going to be an open E, open 1st string. So 1st and the 3rd strings are what we're using right now. And on the 3rd string you're holding down the 1st fret. I'm going to show you the whole scale. Okay, and the way I'm playing it is, and the correct way to do 6 is to pick down the 1st note and to pull up with your finger, not with the pick on the high note. Alright, so, because you do want to get a pinching, a popping type of sound, alright? And you notice I'm sliding a lot. It's for effect, it's technique, you don't have to. It can be sort of playing. You want to have a little technique when you're playing lead behind somebody playing in the key of E now, you know, or an E chord. Alright, now that's the scale in the E. You're going like this, like I said on the first one. When you're going on the 1st string and the 3rd string, you're hitting the 2nd fret, alright? And you're not hitting the 2nd string. 1st and the 3rd string. And you're picking down and pulling up. And then slide up a whole step and do it again. So, okay. Now if you can get into that sliding thing, it's cool. And then we're going up a whole step. You're in an A position here, but you're in the key of E. It's the E scale. So now it changes from where the fingers are on top of each other to the fingers are 1 fret apart, right? Now it's on the 6th fret and the 5th fret, right? The 1st string, the 1st finger is on the 5th fret, the 2nd finger is on the 6th fret, and we're talking the 1st and the 3rd string again. Then it goes back, okay, to where they're on top of each other again. Where you're talking the 7th fret is the 1st string is the 7th fret, and the 3rd string is the 7th fret. Same with the 9th fret. They're on top of each other again. Then they switch again. In the D position, it goes to the 11th fret and the 10th fret. All right, the 11th fret being the 3rd string, and the 1st string being the 10th fret. And then again, it ends on the E in that same position with the 1 fret apart, 13th fret and the 12th fret. And the 12th fret, of course, is the E note, an octave up. And then, what's cool is going backwards, right? And when you go backwards with something, usually all the time you're going to do it the same way, but backwards, right? So instead of picking down and pulling up, I'm going to pull up first and pick down second. Alright, that's the scale of the 6th in E. Now, let's see that again. So, alright. And then backwards. See, if you make a mistake, you can really hear it. You can't make mistakes when you do these. Again, you're going to probably cop out and you're going to go, which is down picking and up pulling, or maybe you'll hit the pick on both of the strings. And I do it. See, I didn't even use my finger doing that. I'll do it, especially when I'm trying to do it fast maybe or something. So don't do that. Try to get used to using your finger and doing it the right way with the right technique from the start, and don't, falter from that, and you will never, make that mistake. You'll never fall into that trap where you can do it both ways or whatever. You're always doing it the correct way. Alright, so I want you to pick up with your finger on the E, high E position of this, the 12th fret one, 12th and 13th, and up with your finger and down with the pick. It's so hard to do it slow for me. Okay? When you go up, you hit the first one, you're hitting the 3rd string first. Okay? When you're going down, you're hitting the 1st string first. We're running out of time. What I wanted to show you before we do run out of time, because I think YouTube only allows me like 15 minutes and then they'll reject the tape, the upload. So you can throw in half steps. In other words, I'm doing it with the whole steps, the scale the correct way. But you can obviously change that up when you're playing lead and throw in half steps. You can't pinch. You can use them like fills, I'll try to do the riff out of Hideaway. It's an old blues song. Clapton did a great version of it where he uses this riff and the whole end of that didn't have the 6, but that first part of that riff, it's a really cool thing. Okay, so try to practice that. I'll see you tomorrow.